I remember it like yesterday. It was a chilly September morning, the first couple of weeks of high school. My Rebbe came over to me and told me he wanted to see me after class. I couldn't figure out why did he want to speak to me. It was only the second week of school. What could I possibly have done wrong? I began to conjure up all sorts of possibilities. After class, I walked over to my Rebbe's desk. I sat down. He looked me in the eyes. And then he said those words I'll never forget. "How are your first couple weeks of high school going?" he asks. I looked at him. My heart began to relax, and a free-flowing conversation ensued. It was the first of many similar conversations. Inspiration, impact. These are two very common words used in the world of Jewish education. We want to inspire our students, to impact them. Jewish education is not just about transmitting knowledge. It is about making an impact and inspiring through forming real relationships. The student must feel comfortable turning to his teacher to discuss any issues that may arise, whether it be religious, familial, emotional, or intellectual. The student has to know that his teacher cares about him and wants what is best for him. This should be the number one rule of relationships between the teacher and his students. As soon as my 9th grade Rebbe showed me that he cared about me and he wanted to speak to me and discuss things with me, everything changed. I'm not suggesting that teaching the material is not important, but we must remember that the content is often just a means to an end, a way to develop and deepen a relationship. It is a means to provide a context for the student to want to learn, not just information, but also from the teacher's advice and actions. I propose these relationship rules. Every teacher should have individual meetings with his students. Every teacher should know the family background of each of his students. Every teacher should know the hobbies and interests of each one of his students and what they enjoy and what they do not enjoy. Every teacher should invite his students over to his house for Shabbos. Invite them to be a part of his own family. In Hebrew, the word for education is chinuch. The Piazetz Rebbe, Rav Chlonimus Kalman Shapiro, explains that the word chinuch is used to describe a situation where something already exists and now it is just able to be utilized. For example, Chanukah Sabayis is an example of when the house is already built and now somebody's living there and using the house. The same thing is true for chinuch. These Jewish souls exist already. It is the job of a Jewish educator to enable these God-given souls to flourish. That's the job of a teacher. Not only to transmit knowledge and information, but also, and more importantly, to connect to each child and enable them to flourish. To this day, I am envious of my friends who have their high school Rebbe as their Masada Kedushin at their wedding. And it's not because this Rebbe gave them any great Kedushim or he taught them how to learn a Tosfos. That's not why he's Masada Kedushin at their weddings. The reason he still has a close relationship with them is because he took the time to speak to them, to care about them, to invite them over for a Shabbos, to make them a part of his own family. Some critics say that if you're too lovey-dovey, then you will not command respect from your students. I'm not suggesting to be lovey-dovey. I'm suggesting a simple rule of relationships. Encourage your students to speak with you and to discuss their issues with you. That will only increase their respect for you. We have to stop thinking that our students are simply supposed to absorb information. Let's remember that our students are unripe Jewish neshamos, as the Piazetz Rebbe says. And it is our job to provide them with the proper atmosphere and guidance so that they can develop properly. Try this approach. Schedule individual meetings with your students. Show them that you care about them. Whether we are a teacher of secular subjects or Jewish subjects, we want to see our students excel in life and reach their potential. It is not about how much information they obtain. It is about the Jewish neshamos achieving their potential. We need to ensure that content is secondary to relationships that enrich the lives of our students. We need to remember that relationships rule.